Hey there, Troy Smutka from Great Day on the Water Guide Service. We are on Lake Mille Lacs in central Minnesota. I'm up here doing some guiding in the morning, so we're heading out, my dad and I, for an afternoon. Hopefully going to get some good video for you today. We're going to be chasing walleyes and smallmouth bass. Probably catch some pike too. We've got a phenomenon going on Lake Mille Lacs here. It's early August and the crayfish are all up on the shallow rocks, and the adults are molting, so they're soft for a while as they're changing shells, so they're easy pickings for walleyes, smallmouth, even good-sized perch. And then the juvenile crayfish are coming off of the adults, and we got all these little juvie crayfish all over the place, and that's good pickings for the smalleye walleyes, for the perch. And then bigger walleyes are eating the perch, and northerns are eating the perch, so kind of got the whole food chain going on up here. Smallmouth are eating the adult crayfish. So we will be targeting rocks in that about 8 to 14 foot range. Mid-afternoon here, we're going to start more in that 14 feet. We'll do a few techniques today. We'll talk about them in more detail as we get to them, but we'll probably do some slip bobber fishing with leeches. We will do probably some casting of jerkbaits and crankbaits, and then probably some trolling of crankbaits as well. And again, hoping to get at least walleyes and smallmouth, if not maybe some jumbo perch and some northern pike as well. So we're gonna make a short little run here, and we'll be back as we're catching some fish and to explain a little more of those specific techniques that we're using. Hi there. Well, it didn't take us long here. We started out more in about 13, 14 feet. I'm gonna grab the net here for this one. Slip bobbering on some nice rocks, and got a walleye. Nice, 17 incher probably. Yeah, maybe 18. I'm gonna let him go here, and then I'll show you more what we're using to start out here. So yeah, nice 17, 18 inch fish or so. All right, so we're just using the basic slip bobber rig. I'm using this is a St. Croix Walleye Tournament Legend series. It's a 8-footer, telescopes out to 8 feet, 6.5 when it's telescoped down, with a Fluger President spinning reel on there. 8-pound test Berkley Nanofill on the reel. That goes to a snap swivel. At the snap swivel, I have a 4-foot. We have good clear water on Mille Lacs here, so I got a 4-foot leader of Berkley Vanish fluorocarbon. I have that tied to, this is a 1/4 ounce. This is a Google Eye jig. It's a horizontal jig with a rattle in it. Can't hurt to have a little bit of noise down there. Got a jumbo leech hooked on there, and then just your fill slip bobber, knot and bead above that snap swivel. And we are just moving along. I'll show later on the locator here, but we're just following this reef along, slowly power bobbing, actually moving. You can see there's almost no wind right now. So this is probably our most subtle good technique to get fish right now. We're just moving along slowly along this top of this sharp break onto this rocky reef, and just casting the bobbers, quartering them out to the side and ahead, moving along. When we make contact, hit the anchor, the spot lock button for the trolling motor, get the fish in, and then sit there and see if a lot of times they come up and you'll bump into them in little packs of 2 or 3 or even 4, and you can usually maybe catch a couple before you move on again. So we'll get them back down there and see if we can get some more. All right, my dad's got one on here. Not too long after that last one. We missed one in between there too. I'm gonna probably have to net this for him, so we'll be back. Alright, we got that fish in, about a 16 incher there or so. Still using that same slip bobber rig we were talking about. We caught a couple and missed one here in about 30-35 minutes. So for 3:30 in the afternoon, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, not bad. We're gonna work a little more on this reef here, and otherwise we may go onto some shallower rocks and look for some smallies before the walleyes up there get active too. We'll be back. Alright, so let's take a look at where we're fishing here. It's just a long, thin reef that sticks out. Has some shallower humps on the top, but the majority of it is about 12 to 14 feet with a couple little shallower spots. And you can see we're just, from my red path there, we're just following one of the flat shelves in that 12 to 13 foot range, right above a sharp break. You can see a sharp break down there into the main lake, and we're right at the top of that break following that along. We're anchored right now. There's the Altera holding us. Not ideal walleye conditions here, but we've got a few. We'll move in a little shallower here, onto some little bit shallower rocks yet with this crayfish molt going on, and see if we can find some more walleyes there too, as well as probably some smallmouth as the light gets a little bit lower here a little later into the afternoon. So we're power bobbing, just moving slowly with the Altera here, following this ledge along, lobbing the bobbers out ahead of us and off to the side, and then if we get a fish, I hit the spot lock button and anchor us in that area to get that fish in, and a lot of times there's 2, 3, 4 of them in a little pack. So we'll see if we get some more of those, and then we just move on. It's a good technique for searching these shallow to mid-depth rocks, presenting the baits subtly with our calm, clear conditions right now, and staying up out of those rocks, a little less hang-ups, or a lot less hang-ups than a Lindy rig or something like that would have. So good technique for when the walleyes get up on these shallow to mid-depth rocks. Switched to pitching crankbaits and ripping wraps up here, and my dad's got one. I think you probably swing that on that area. He's casting number 7 flicker shad in a crayfish color with that crayfish bite going on up here, and he had another walleye hit it. We're up more in about 8-9 feet of water on these rocks now. Again, you can see not exactly ideal walleye conditions, but when they're up here to feed on those crayfish, they can be up here a lot. So good job, Dad. We're gonna get that fish back, and
And here you'll see I keep my crankbaits that we're using kind of organized by colors and size and style in a nice plain old 3600 waterproof boxes. A good tip, keep your baits where you can get at them easy.
Alright, I switched over to trolling. Small crankbaits up here, and we got a walleye. Trolling about that 10-foot contour. There we go. About a 17, 18 inch here again. Trolling about, this one's a glass shad number 5. And we're also trolling a crankbait color jointed number 5 shad in about 10 to 11 feet of water. So we're going to get a still photo of this and then let this go, and then we'll be back and talk about the baits. Still trolling those crankbaits, getting closer to dark here. About a 17 incher or so, yeah. All right. Good one. Okay, my dad's got one.
All right, you'll notice here that our start of a nice, pretty sunset turned into a very hazy looking one. We found out later that was smoke from Canadian forest fires that rolled in with the northwest wind that afternoon.
Pretty good there for a while. Ah, nice walleye. Okay, you kind of swing him up, I think. Okay, nice one. 20 incher or so there. Hey, look at that. He took the hooks out for you too. Sometimes they cooperate. All right, we're gonna get a still photo of him and then we will release him. Good job, Dan. Okay, got another one. Didn't take long. Again, nice walleye. Yeah, there's a nice 20 incher there, maybe even 21. Still pulling those number 5 size crankbaits in about 10 to 11 feet of water along this rock reef. Fish are spitting up perch, spitting up crayfish. Nice one there. We're going to take a picture of it and then we'll be back to release it. All right, so we got a picture of that fish. We'll put that fish back here quick. There it goes. All right, just want to mention what we're doing here. I mentioned we're trolling about 1.8 to 2 miles an hour. I'm using the kicker on the back here, the Mercury Pro Kicker 9.9. You can see I've got a long extended handle on it. Now, if we have light enough winds, I could be using the bow mount trolling motor, the Altera too, and I could even set it on contour follow. But with just enough wave to blow us off a little bit here, I like using this kicker back here with this long handle, because with that long handle, I don't have to turn it very far at all to get a serious turn. So I can turn faster and really follow contour as well with this long handle, and then I've got the power. It's all in one hand where I can goose it a little bit to get a little speed when we're going against the waves, to get over some waves and try to maintain the speed. So again, could use the Altera, but in these conditions I really like this kicker back here. Is just instrumental in keeping the speed and being able to steer and stay on those contours. All right, still trolling the crankbaits here. I mean, literally 3 minutes after the last fish, we got a smallie on here. We know it's a smallie because he jumped once already. Not that big, but boy, they are tough fish. So strong. Let's see if I can swing him into the boat. Yeah, there we go. Hey, not that big, boy. Still on that glass shad, number 5 shad wrap. Nice fish there. Alright, we'll get him back. And we'll get back to it. I mean, literally, we're getting a fish every few minutes here. So, hey there. We're trolling those crankbaits, and I mean, literally, we're catching these fish like 5 minutes apart, if that. Actually, that smallmouth and that one walleye were about to, basically got the bait out, clicked the reel engaged, and it was on. 5 minutes from that one to this one, a little bigger than the last one. That last one was 16. We got a. Ooh. Now there's a good thing. My dad has only got a couple, 3 or so here on the crayfish. I'm starting to hit them on this glass perch. Well, there's the glass perch. Look what the walleye just spit out. It's laying in my hand side by side there. Get a close up of that. I think we might have to match the hatch here and get another perch on for Dad. About a 19-incher here. Nice fish. We're going to get a picture of that and then we'll let it go. Hey there. We got another one. This feels like a little better fish. Not sure yet if it's a walleye or a smallmouth. It feels heavier and it's biting much harder. Again, up here with this Crayfish Molt bite on these shallow rocks, you can get walleye, smallmouth, even pike. I thought maybe it may have been a pike for a while. Yeah, we got a nice smallie. Not huge as they go on Lake Mille Lacs, but many people would scoff at that fish. Not happy. I guess I can't blame him. Oh, and he threw it there. Oh well. Maybe should have netted him, I guess, but with all these treble hooks, probably a good idea. But about a 17-inch smallmouth. So just something else you can get when these crayfish are molting up on these shallow rocks. Everything's up here eating. So we'll get back to it and see if we can get another one here before we run out of time. Hey there, we got another one right after that smallie. Got another one. Got a nice decent-sized walleye here, 16-incher. Oh, he threw the hook for me. That was quick. All right, nice one there on that glass shad wrap again. So we'll get that one back, and they're biting well. We'll get back to it here. Hey there. Still trolling here. I feel real big. Let's see what we got. Nice walleye. Oh, looks like it's a tagged one too. Trolling the crankbaits. Yeah, we got a tag walleye. We'll get him in here. Alright. Oh yeah, oh, double tagged. Look at that. Okay. So we're going to turn the camera off here a minute. I'm going to quick record these numbers, take a picture of these numbers on these tags. Got those numbers recorded, got a still photo of them. We're going to put them back here. There he goes. Alright, so go over what we're using here for the trolling. We got a few fish here trolling. This is a number 5. My dad is pulling a number 5 jointed shad wrap in a crayfish color. We've got crayfish up here the walleyes are feeding on. We have perch up here feeding on the crayfish, and the walleyes are feeding on the perch. So usually a couple of good colors to get started with, and then dial it in from there. And so far they've been catching fish. So just using a 7-foot medium power bait cast rod and reel, 10-pound test Berkeley Fire line on the Abu Garcia bait cast reels, and we've got rod holders that we could put them in, but most of the time moving along at this 1.8 to 2, we're holding on to the rod. Rod holders just basically there if we need to put it in to, like my dad had to put it in to video this fish or to grab something in the boat, but we're holding on to it, and that bait swims along. We're letting out about, well, until we start hitting the rocks. I'm guessing that we're probably back there 75 feet behind the boat, 70 feet. But if we start hitting rocks regularly, then we bring a little line in just to keep it so maybe it ticks the rocks once in a while. And pulling along at that 1.8 to 2,
rod tip will be twitching from the lure, and all of a sudden the rod goes slack as the fish grabs the bait, and the rod loads up. Don't have to set the hook or anything, just sweep forward and bring them in. All right, we'll get back out there and see if we get some more. Hi, all right, well, it's getting dark on us, so we're gonna call it a day here. Caught some fish using a few different techniques, went through those with you. Hopefully learned a little bit as well as we're entertained. This Crayfish Molt, bringing the Walleyes, northern smallmouth perch up onto shallow mid-depth rocks, is not only exclusive to Lake Mille Lacs. There's lots of lakes in our country that this phenomenon happens. And it's just a reminder about knowing the conditions that the fish in your lake are dealing with and the situations they're in, and then how that will locate them and what that will do to their feeding and their moods. Other examples I can think of, when the frog migration happens in the fall. That determines where a lot of the fish are located and how they bite and what they bite on. The walleye spawning migration out of large lakes and up rivers in the springtime. The shiner migration out of large lakes and up nice sized rivers in the fall as well. Those are all condition situations that dictate where the fish are going to be at certain times of the year and where you should be to catch them. So thanks for joining us for this episode. Hopefully we will see you next time. Until then, good luck, and I'll see you out there somewhere.